How's everybody doing today? Welcome to Cape Snakes. My name is Maddie, and if you couldn't tell by the title of this video, I have a problem down here in the snake room. Not that big of a problem, but it is causing problems with the snakes themselves. So let's get right into it. The problem that I have is that the humidity in this room is too high. The humidity right now is 64%. Now you may be thinking, well, that's not too bad. The range for ball pythons is 50 to 60%. True, but as you may know, I have PVC racks, and PVC itself is very good at insulating. So, because my humidity is 65%, my tub humidity is actually 88% on paper towels. On bedding, it's 100%. Now that is too high, and you would think, yeah, the ball pythons can handle that humidity. They can, but let me show you the problem that it's creating. Now, all of you should know my boy Mickey here, the ODYB clown. Now, as I was doing my checks on the snakes last week, I noticed something that just did not look right. Let's see if I can show you without stressing them out too much. So if you can see right there, let it focus. That right there is scale / mouth rod. Now, I noticed that, and some of you know that I'm selling Bun, the cinnamon girl. A guy actually messaged me and wanted to buy her. Cool, awesome, that's great. I was doing my checks, I noticed that on Mickey, and I was like, well, that's not good. I messaged a buddy of mine trying to ask him some questions about it. He has his own method of dealing with that type of thing, and I was gonna go with that method. I was doing my check on Bun, make sure she's all good because this guy wants to buy her. I noticed she has it. I messaged the guy immediately, look, hey, she has this. Not quite sure what it was at the time. I wasn't sure what it was, and basically talking about it, and he wanted me to take her to the vet. I had no problem doing that. I was like, if I'm gonna take her, I'm gonna take Mickey as well, so I know for sure it's the same thing and we get a treatment for this. So I do have antibiotics for both of them that I have to inject them with. I think it's like a 30-day treatment type ordeal. I have to treat them every 3 days. But I asked the vet, what causes this? And she said, drastic change in humidity or humidity being too high. I was like, okay. I was already looking at the graphs of my room from December when I built the room to now, because this is the first time having the room in the summer and in the winter, so there's problems to be found. If you look at the graph that I have from December to end of March, beginning of April, the humidity was pretty much between 30 and 40% ambient in the room. If you look at the humidity now, it is 65% or higher at some times. We are in the warm months now, so that makes sense. That is a drastic change in humidity. So I'm sure the tub, because I never checked the tubs during the winter for humidity, I kind of just based it off of if there was condensation building up in the tubs. And I was still having perfect sheds and whatnot. So I'm assuming in the winter, the tub's humidity was probably around that 60%, maybe a little bit higher. So with that drastic change in humidity, at a very short period of time, it's literally from the end of March, once you hit April, it goes way up. So I'm assuming that drastic change is what causes these problems that I have with Bun and Mickey. I've been trying to figure out a way to help this problem. The optimal humidity for a ball python is 50 to 60%. Tubs are at 100 in some cases and 88% in other cases if they're on paper towels or bedding. So my goal is to try to get this humidity in that range. You know, I have the fan behind me, so my first idea was turn the fan on, get circulating air, see if that helps. That did help a fair amount. It dropped a tub with on paper towels, dropped to about 70%. Okay, one problem. With that fan on, the the heater doesn't turn off because the fan's pushing too much air for the heater to recognize basically the temperature limit that it's set at and shut off like it just did. My next idea was, okay, well, how about I drill a whole bunch of holes in the tub? I mean, I drilled a whole bunch all the way down. That's fun. She's doing good, by the way, just so you know. That didn't help at all. Maybe a percentage or two in humidity change. So my next idea, and my final idea that I know will almost cure all, is buy a dehumidifier. So let's open this up and we'll talk a little bit more about it. I did buy this dehumidifier off of Amazon. It was the cheapest one that I could find that I'm able to actually set the humidity that I want the room at. So it ran me about $160. And there's a bunch of different settings on it, which is great. So I can really fine tune it. So after reading the directions for the dehumidifier there, I gotta let it stand upright for 24 hours before I can actually use it. Which sucks, but it'll be all right. I can set it up tomorrow morning. I'm actually going to an expo tomorrow just to browse around. I'm not planning on buying anything because I'm broke. But here it is. Got your control panel here, so set the mode, speed of the fan, which is cool, so I actually get more air circulation in here. You can set it to low, medium, high. I'll set it to low, and it's just gonna go right here. Excuse all the deli cups, I washed those, so I'm letting them air dry. If you haven't noticed before, during winter, I noticed that the tub would sweat a lot, basically a lot of moisture built up on the sides. And that was, I kept the bedding covered in pretty much an airtight container to keep it damp still. But I noticed way too much moisture building up on the tub. So I actually let the bedding air dry out essentially in this nice warm room. So I didn't have that problem during the winter. But now, because it's summertime, that doesn't matter because it is still way too high of humidity in here. Now I do have a sensor push mounted on the wall here, and then I have another thermometer here, both connected to my phone. I actually got the gateway for the sensor push, primarily for the incubator, but also to see the room temperature and stuff like that. It's always safe to have extra than what you need, I guess. But I was doing tests in all the tubs with paper towel and tubs without paper towel on bedding and whatnot, and no matter what, it's still way too high. But for right now, this is what I'm working with. So we're gonna set this up tomorrow, try it out, see how well it works. I'm sure it's gonna work great, and then do a whole bunch of tests over again with the sensor push, putting them in different tubs to see what the humidity is actually like. I think the dehumidifier goes down all the way to 30% humidity in the room, so that would be cool. I'm actually also really curious how it's going to be once the ARS racks come in, because those aren't built out of PVC, they're metal obviously. So either way, definitely something good to have, having that dehumidifier. Probably should have bought it a long time ago, but I didn't know. Still learning everything. Like I said, this room is in its first year. December will mark its 1 year, so figuring everything out. I live on an island, so it's naturally humid in the summer and muggy, so that's not helping at all either. Turkey boy came out to say hi. Look at him, fat chalk. He's doing great, by the way, still eating, no problem. Obviously his gum is still like that, but it doesn't affect him in any way. He's doing great. With this channel, I want to be as open as possible with everything that goes on, the problems I have had, and basically what I'm doing to fix those problems. I have no problem showing the good and the bad. It's part of this. And if you're getting into this breeding snakes, and it's not always going to be rainbows and sunshine. You're going to have stuff like this come up, and it's your job to basically fix the problem and find the solution. And I've been going crazy, trying to just do all these tests to figure out what can I do to solve it. And my answer is the dehumidifier. I have pictures of what Mickey's mouth did look like when I first noticed it, and it was a lot worse than what it is now, so he's already making great improvements. I'm also hoping with this dehumidifier, everything's going to be a lot more consistent temperament-wise in here, and that will help a lot of my feeding issues that I have with like Tika, the Enchi Pastel, and even Mickey himself, because he has not eaten yet. But this is a learning game, and I have so much to learn. So that's really what's gonna cut it for this video. I will do an update once the dehumidifier is up and running, and I do my tests basically and bring you guys along for that. So like, subscribe, do what you gotta do. Give me a follow on Instagram at Cape_snakes508. And I hope you guys have a great day.